Hi everyone! Well, I'm here in my kitchen making myself some breakfast. Gonna harvest some microgreens to pop on top of my breakfast. So I thought I'd bring you along with me. If you're not familiar with microgreens, they are tiny little greens that are not grown to full maturity. You harvest them at about 2 to 3 inches tall. They're really a perfect thing to grow indoors when you can't get outside in the wintertime to grow. Or in my case, I can grow year round here in California, but today is a super windy day. So it's really nice to have these little microgreens right here next to my kitchen where I can easily pick them and throw them on my breakfast. So let's get to harvesting because I'm getting hungry. You can use a variety of different seeds for microgreens. You really want to choose seeds that are fast growing. Here I've got some purple stem radishes right here. Got some giant red mustard greens, which are very fast growing, and this is some arugula, which we've already been harvesting off of. So what you want to do when you're harvesting your microgreens, you can actually harvest them a couple of different ways. You can either pull them up, which is not my favorite way to harvest them, because then you get lots and lots of dirt on the roots, and sometimes it's kind of hard to rinse off. And when you pull them up, you don't get multiple harvests out of them. So what I prefer to do is simply grab a handful of microgreens. Now you don't have to harvest them all at once. I just like to harvest what I'm going to use for that particular day. And then just cut them off at the soil level, just like this. I love the purple stems on these. They're so pretty and so tasty. Now the really fun thing about microgreens is, one reason that makes them so easy to grow is you don't even need grow lights. Now these I just grow here by my kitchen windowsill. This window doesn't even get a lot of direct sunlight. In fact, I don't think it gets any direct sunlight. So they'll do well in a sunny windowsill, they'll do well under grow lights, but the cool thing is you don't even have to get grow lights set up. Now I did want to mention too that you don't need a real deep container to grow microgreens. That's what makes them so easy to grow inside. You only need a container that's a few inches deep. This one's really perfect because it's about 6 inches deep, fits nicely here next to my sink, and it makes a nice bright pop of color. You don't even necessarily have to have holes or drainage in the bottom of your container because again, you're not growing them to full size. You're only growing them to a few inches tall. These do have drainage and I put a little plant saucer under it to catch all the drips. But these red mustard greens, they're actually giant red mustard greens, but in this case we're growing them very small, are one of my favorite. They add a nice little zip to your meals. So I'm going to show you in just a moment how I like to have them for breakfast. But another way I like to eat them for lunch is on top of soup. So I'll just heat myself up some soup, pop these on top, and it just adds that incredible flavor and a lot of nutrition to my soup. You can put them in wraps, put them in smoothies. They're just such a versatile little green. Now, like I mentioned, we have been harvesting off of these for quite a while. This is arugula. I'm going to go ahead and snip the rest of my arugula out. And then I'm going to show you how you can actually reseed your microgreens container. Now usually once you snip your microgreens, you may get one more harvest out of them. It's not going to be as big of a harvest, but you might get a few more little sprouts. But let's go ahead and snip these out and then plant some more seeds in here. So that way you can see exactly how to get the seeds planted if you're starting fresh, or if you're redoing your container. And the microgreen seed collection has several different varieties of microgreens. I think today I'm going to plant some red Russian kale and maybe some more arugula because we really love the arugula microgreens. And these are two of the fastest growing microgreens. So I do like to have these going often. Now I like to plant maybe, get a new one going maybe once a week or so. That way you can harvest one for a week and then you have a new one popping up. And don't be afraid to mix different varieties. So here I'm actually going to mix the red Russian kale and the arugula, so you get a nice little mixture there. When you're growing microgreens, you want to seed them heavily. You don't need to worry about spacing them out. Whoops, this one doesn't want to come out here. Because you want if I can get the seeds out, we'll be doing good. Because you want a nice little thick carpet of seeds or of greens to pop up. Just going to sprinkle it over the top. It's a nice thick seeding. And I'm just using regular potting mix in here. This is the Good Dirt potting mix. They also have an indoor potting mix, or you can make your own. So I'm just very lightly covering them with an extra little sprinkle of soil. Kind of patting them down. Now I'm going to give them a little spritz of water here. Then I'm going to see these sprout, I'm going to say within 2 to 3 days. and they'll be ready to harvest in about 7 to 10 days. So you really can't go wrong with microgreens. So I'm just giving my microgreens a good little rinse of water. Now you do want to use them right away for the best flavor. And if you are going to keep them in the refrigerator, don't wash them until you're ready to use them. And then before you put them in the fridge, just wrap them in a paper towel to absorb any excess moisture, or just harvest them as you need them. So let me show you how I love to eat them for breakfast. Oh, that'll get me going. Now, one of my favorite ways to eat microgreens is simply on top of scrambled eggs. I tend to keep things very, very simple in the kitchen. And during the week, I just don't have time to make a huge breakfast. But it's super quick to scramble up 3 eggs in the frying pan, and then just top it with whatever garden fresh ingredients you happen to have. Now, I do happen to have, besides my microgreens, one of my favorite Aunt Ruby's German green tomatoes. I love these tomatoes. They're coming to the end of the season right now, so I've been trying to use them however I can. So first I'm going to just scooch a nice little spoonful here on top of my scrambled eggs. And then we're just going to top them with a nice little handful of microgreens. So it's that easy. You can saute them if you want to, but I tend to just kind of eat them raw. So I just pile them on there. Now I'm going to add a little sprinkle of some sea salt on top, just to bring out all the flavor. Of course, you got to have that fresh ground pepper. Has to be fresh ground, right? And then just to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit, make it a little bit more exciting, I'm going to add a few drops of hot sauce. Now, this is a homemade hot sauce that my brother-in-law gave me, and I like things spicy, so I love this stuff. So you put a sprinkle of this on top. So if you've got jalapenos or hot peppers from the garden, whatever you got, whatever you like, it's totally your preference. So we got to go in here for the taste test. This is looking absolutely amazing. And the cool thing about microgreens is they're so versatile. And when you grow a couple of different kinds, then you have different flavors on your scrambled eggs. Now, one of our favorite things to make with microgreens too is avocado toast, but that takes a little bit more time, so we tend to do that on the weekends. Let's go in here for a bite. Got all the scrambled eggs, the microgreens, the hot sauce, and of course we got to get a little Aunt Ruby's German green tomato in here too. Oh my gosh, tons of garden fresh goodness. Can you guys see that there? This is going to be amazing. I can taste those purple radishes, the arugula, the red mustard greens. It just makes scrambled eggs so much more exciting. Thanks so much for joining me for breakfast today. It was so much fun to have you along. Let me know if you're going to be growing microgreens with me indoors this winter. It's such a fun, easy crop to grow inside when it's too cold to get outside to your garden. And grab one of my microgreens or my indoor garden seed collections, 35% off. I'm running a clearance sale with the code Oktoberfest over at CaliKimGardeningHome.com. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. We're going in for another bite. Cheers.